Namaste. My name is JVN Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences in Department of Food and Biotechnology in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today, we will study about the pre-harvest and post-harvest changes in fruits and vegetables for class BSc FND fourth semester and integrated course BTech MTech fourth semester. So let's begin with the topic. First of all, harvest handling. So in this, we basically get the maturity index for any fruits and vegetable. Okay, the principles dictating at which stage of maturity a fruit and vegetable should be harvested are crucial to its subsequent storage and marketable life and quality. Post-harvest physiologists distinguish three stages in the lifespan of fruits and vegetables. These three stages are maturation, ripening, and senescence. Maturation is indicative of the fruit being ready for harvest. At this point, edible part of the fruit or vegetable is fully developed in size, although it may not be ready for immediate consumption. Okay. And ripening follows or overlaps maturation, that is, rendering the produce edible as indicated by taste. And last stage is senescence, that characterized by natural degradation of the fruit or vegetable, as in loss of texture, flavor, etc. So, some typical maturity indexes now we will discuss. First is skin color. Okay, this factor is commonly applied to fruits since skin color changes as fruit ripens or matures. Some fruits exhibit no perceptible color change during maturation, depending on the type of fruit or vegetable. Okay, so assessment of harvest maturity by skin color depends on the judgment of the harvester, but color charts are available for cultivars such as apples, tomatoes, peaches, chili peppers, etc. Okay, next is optical methods. So light transmission properties can be used to measure the degree of maturity of fruits. These methods are based on the chlorophyll content of the fruit, which is reduced during the maturation. Okay, as the fruit ripen, the degree of the chlorophyll content of the fruit will reduces. The fruit is exposed to the bright light, which is then switched off so that the fruit is in total darkness. Next, a sensor measures the amount of light emitted from the fruit, which is directly proportional to its chlorophyll content and thus its maturity. Okay, then shape. The shape of the fruit can change during maturation and can be used as a characteristic to determine harvest maturity. For instance, a banana becomes more rounded in cross sections and less angular or as it develops on the plant. Mangoes also change shape during maturation. As the mango matures on the tree, the relationship between the shoulders of the fruit and the point at which the stalk is attached may change. The shoulders of immature mangoes slope away from the fruit stalk. However, or mature mangoes, the shoulders become level with the point of attachment. And with even more maturity, the shoulders may be raised above this point. Okay, then size. Changes in the size of a crop while growing are frequently used to determine the time of harvest. For example, partially mature crops of Zea mays secreta are marketed as sweet corn, while even less mature and the smaller crops are marketed as baby corn. For bananas, the width of the individual fingers can be used to determine harvest maturity. Usually, a finger is placed midway along the bunch of its maximum width is measured with calipers. This is referred as the caliper grade. Next characteristic is aroma. Most fruits synthesize volatile chemicals when they ripen. Such Chemicals give fruit its characteristic odor and can be used to determine whether it is ripe or not. These odors may only be detectable by humans when a fruit is completely ripe and therefore has limited use in commercial situations. Next characteristic is fruit opening. Some fruits may develop toxic compounds during ripening, such as ackee tree fruit, which contains toxic level of hypoglycine. The fruit splits when it is fully mature, revealing black seeds or yellow areas. At this stage, it has been shown to contain minimal amount of hypoglycine or none at all. This creates a problem in marketing because the fruit is so mature and it will have a very short post-harvest life. Analysis of hypoglycine A in ackee tree fruit revealed that seed contained appreciable hypoglycine at all the stages of maturity at approximately 1000 ppm. While levels in the membrane mirrored those in the arils, the analysis supports a earlier observation that unopened or partially opened ackee fruit should not be consumed, whereas fruit that opens naturally to over 15 mm of lobe separation possess little health hazard provided the seed and membrane portion are removed. These observations agree with those of Brown et al., who stated that the bright red full-sized ackee should never be forced open for human consumption. Next characteristic is leaf changes. Leaf qualities often determines when fruits and vegetables should be harvested. In root crops, the conditions of leaves are likewise indicated the condition of the crop below ground. For example, if potatoes are to be stored, then the optimum harvest time is soon after the leaves and stems have died. If harvested earlier, the skins will be less resistant to harvesting and handling damage and more prone to storage diseases. Next characteristic is abscission. As part of the natural development of a fruit, an abscission layer is formed in the pedicel. For example, in cantaloupe melons, harvesting before the abscission layer is fully developed results in inferior flavored fruit compared to those left on the vine for the full period. Next point is firmness. A fruit may change in texture during maturation, especially during ripening when it may become rapidly softer. Excessive loss of moisture may also affect the texture of crops. These textural changes are detected by touch, and the harvester may simply be able to gently squeeze the fruit and judge whether the crop can be harvested. Today, sophisticated devices have been developed to measure texture in fruits and vegetables. For example, texture analyzers and pressure testers. They are currently available for fruits and vegetables in various forms. A force is applied to the surface of the fruit, allowing the probe to the penetrometer or texturometer to penetrate in the fruit flesh and which then gives a reading on firmness. Handheld pressure testers could give variable results because the basis on which they are used to measure firmness is affected by the angle at which the force is applied. Two commonly used pressure testers to measure the firmness of fruits and vegetables are the Magnus-Taylor and the UC fruit firmness testers. Okay, a more elaborate test, but not necessarily more effective, uses instruments like Instron Universal Testing Machine are used, and it is necessary to specify the instrument and all settings when reporting test pressures, values, or attempting to set standards. Okay. The Agricultural Code of California states that the Bartlett pears should also be considered mature if they comply with any one of the following. First is the average pressure test of not less than 10 representative pears for each commercial size in any lot does not exceed 23 pounds, or you can say 10.4 kgs. Second point is the soluble solids in a sample of juice from not less than 10 representative pears for each commercial size in any lot is not less than 13%. This code defines minimum maturity for Bartlett pears and then juice content. The juice content of many fruits increases as the fruit matures on the tree. To measure the juice content of a fruit, a representative sample of fruit is taken and then the juice is extracted in a standard manner. The volume of juice is related to the original mass of the juice and which is directly proportional to its maturity of the fruit. Okay, so the minimum value for citrus juices is like for Neville oranges, the minimum juice content is 30%, and other oranges, minimum juice content is 35%. For grapefruit, it is 35%. For lemon juice, it is for lemon fruit, the minimum juice content is 25%. For mandarins, the minimum juice content is 33%, and for clementines, the minimum juice content is 40%. Okay. Then next point is oil content and dry matter percentages. Oil content can be used to determine the maturity of fruits such as avocados. According to the agricultural code in California, avocados at the time of harvest and at any time thereafter shall not contain in weight less than 8% oil per avocado, excluding its skin and seed. Thus, the oil content of an avocado is related to the moisture content. The oil content is determined by weighing 10 to 5 grams of avocado pulp and then extracting the oil with the solvent. Solvent may be used as benzene and petroleum ether in a distillation column. This method has been successful for cultivars naturally high in oil content. For this test, a round flask is used for the solvent. Heat is applied at the electric plate and water recirculated to maintain a constant temperature during the extraction process. The extraction is performed using the solvents such as petroleum ether, benzene, diethyl ether, etc. And the process takes place between 4 to 6 hours. After the extraction, the oil is recovered from the flask through the evaporation of the water at 105 degrees Celsius in an oven until constant weight is achieved. Next characteristic is the moisture content. During the development of avocado fruit, the oil content increases and the moisture content rapidly decreases. The moisture levels required to obtain good acceptability of a variety of avocados cultivated in Chile. Then, for example, bacon should have moisture content 77.5%, and Hassel has have water content or moisture content is 73.8%. Next point is the sugars. In climacteric fruits, carbohydrate accumulate during maturation in the form of starch. As the fruit ripens, starch is broken down into the sugar, and in non-climacteric fruits, sugar tends to accumulate during maturation. Okay, a quick method to measure the amount of sugar present in fruits is with a degree Briggs hydrometer, or you can say refractometer. A drop of fruit juice is placed in the sample of holder of the refractometer and a reading taken. This is equivalent to the total amount of soluble solids or the sugar content. This factor is used in many parts of the world to specify the maturity. The soluble solid content of the fruit is also determined by the shining light on the fruit or vegetable and measuring the amount transmitted. This is a laboratory technique, however, and might not be suitable for village level production. Next is the starch content. Measurement of starch content is a reliable technique used to determine maturity in pear cultivars. The method involves cutting the fruit in two and dipping the cut pieces in a solution containing 4% potassium iodide and 1% is iodine. The cut surfaces stain to a blue-black color in the places where the starch is present. Simple iodine reaction and starch converts into sugar as harvest time approaches, and harvest begins when the sample shows that 65 to 70% of the cut surface have turned blue-black. Next parameter is acidity. In many fruits, the acidity changes during maturation and ripening, and in the case of citrus and other fruits, acidity reduces progressively as the fruit matures on the tree. Taking the sample of such fruits and extracting the juice and titrating it against a standard alkaline solution gives a measure that can be related to optimum time of harvesting. Normally, acidity is not taken as a measurement of fruit maturity by itself, but in relation to the soluble solids, giving what is the term the degree Brix acid ratio. Okay. Then next is specific gravity. Specific gravity is the relative gravity or the weight of solids or liquids compared to pure distilled water at 62 degrees Fahrenheit, which is considered unity. The specific gravity is obtained by comparing the weights of equal bulks of other bodies with the weight of water. In practice, the fruit or vegetable is weighed in air, then in pure water. The weight in air divided by the weight in water gives the specific gravity, and this will ensure a reliable measure of fruit maturity. As a fruit matures, its specific gravity increases, and this parameter is rarely used in practice to determine time of harvest, but could be used in cases where a development of suitable sampling technique is possible. It is used, however, to grade crops according to different maturities at post-harvest, and this is done by placing the fruit in a tank of water wherein those that float are less mature than those that sink. Okay, then come to the factors of pre-harvest which are responsible for ripening and maturity deterioration. The losses occurred in post-harvest of fruits and vegetables are high, starting from 3% to 40%. Up to 15% of fresh fruits and vegetables became stale and decreased their value in the market along with the acceptability of the consumer. Reducing these losses which occur will risk their supply without any link to the cultivation process, and this will also be a major help in controlling pollution. Mechanical losses are cracking, bruising, cuts, damage caused by fungi and bacteria. Physiological changes will be change in the rate of respiration, pigments, flavor, and organic acids. Up to 40% of the vegetables get decayed because of the bacteria, which is soft rot, and 32% of the fruits get decayed because of the penicillium species. These losses can be decreased by choosing the correct pre-harvest and post-harvest treatment. For that, number one is variety selection. The varieties which give maximum yield, very good quality, and which gets ripened slowly and has a very long shelf life under the conditions which are ambient, and also good quality of processing need to be developed and grown in a commercial way. Next point is the cultural operation. These operations will be a major help in increasing the shelf life of fruits and vegetables. Pruning or thinning will raise the size of the fruit and minimize the acidity and total soluble solids. The quality of post-harvest of the citrus fruits will rise in significant way when Tangelo trifoliate orange are utilized as a rootstock. Fruit quality can be raised by applying potassium, magnesium, and zinc, whereas higher nitrogen and phosphorus will decrease the quality. Too much irrigation prior to harvesting will reduce the shelf life and the quality, whereas less irrigation will improve the crop maturity. For root crop types, the soil must be prepared to a tilt of porous nature for the avoidance of root poking. Irrigation, which is not done on a regular basis, will cause cracks in the carrots and radish that and there would be splits in the external scales of onions. In garlic and onion, irrigation should never be stopped prior to 3 weeks of harvesting to make sure that there is a better quality. Too much application of fertilizers containing nitrogen will cause deterioration in the tissues in a faster ways, whereas controlled supply will improve the quality of vegetables. Then treatments in pre-harvest. The shelf life in post-harvest of fruits and vegetables will increase by the application of chemicals in the pre-harvest. Topsin M, a percentage of 0.1% or Bavistin at a percentage of 0.1% should be sprayed 3 times with an interval of 15 days prior to harvesting. This will control the anthracnose snows and rots at the end of the stem in the mangoes. And in the same way, decay caused at the time of post-harvest can be regulated by spraying benlate at a percentage of 0.1% or toxin M at percentage of 0.1 time 3 times at the time of pre-harvest at an interval of 15 days. Application of malic hydrazide at the time of pre-harvest will decrease the onion and potato sprouting at the time of storage. In Kharif and Rabi types of onions, applying malic hydrazide of 2000 ppm after 3 months of transplantation will decrease the sprouting at the time of 5 months of storage in the structures which are ventilated. The diseases caused in the post-harvest of onions and tomato can be regulated by 3 sprays of 0.2 diplatin at the time of pre-harvest at an interval of 10 days. In the same way, applying promoters of growth like N-benzyl adine at 20 ppm at the time of pre-harvest will increase the shelf life of leafy vegetables. Okay, then after the maturity, and we will study the maturity, and then the quality at the time of post harvest and the life of storage of fruits will be completely controlled by the maturity. If the harvest of fruits is done at the correct stage of maturity, there would be an excellent quality of fruits. Okay, then harvest of vegetables is done when they grow to a maximum size and are still tender, and too much maturity in the root crops will cause pithiness and sponginess, and the harvesting of the root crops should not get delayed, and the delay in garlic and onion will decrease the quality of storage. And after that we will do harvesting. uh, we will do harvesting, and for that harvest should be done in a day when the temperature is cool. Preferably the morning would be better, and the produce should be transferred at the shade at the early times. In the harvest is done in the hot period, it will increase the heat to produce, which in turn causes shriveling and wilting of the fruits and vegetable. And then harvesting, which is done at the time of rains or immediately after rains, will cause a severe increase in the microorganisms by creating favorable conditions for them to get multiplied. Then citrus fruits will become sustainable to any damage if their harvest is done at the time of rains, as their rind will become turgid and can survive to easy bruising. Proper care at the time of harvest is very important, as any injuries which occur at the time of harvesting will later become brown or black patches, which make them look unattractive, and the latex which comes out of the stem, mainly in the mangoes, should not be fell on fruits, as it will lead to the creation of black spots. An injury caused to the peel might also become a point of entry of microorganisms, which is turned to cause rotting. Few gadgets of harvesting are developed. For example, harvesters developed for mangoes in Lucknow, Ratnagiri, and Bangalore, and their need to get popular. Some fruits and vegetables are being harvested without ripening to handle them safely, and marketing and transportation must be done when they are matured so that they will have time to get ripened later on in a normal way and grow with good quality for eating. Okay, so I hope today's session you understand very well. So that is enough for today's lecture. Thank you so much for watching this video.